Do ghosts have optical nerves?
Yes.
No, they don't. They're ghosts.
You don't know that.
They don't have nerves. They're just...
You can't say it. Maybe in the other realm you get different nerves. Maybe the astral body has astral nerves.
I don't think so. So maybe they're not watching. They're feeling. So not only did they not watch...
It's even worse.
doing the number 2.
That's like some Patrick
felt
Swayze shit. Like, I'm feeling you take a shit right now. It feels good. It feels so good. And I know those are your personal thoughts, but honestly, you can't just be saying stuff like that on the podcast. It's incredibly racist, and the people are getting tired of it. Honestly, they're not a fan of you being wildly racist on the show, and then it's more work for me because I have to cut it out. So keep those thoughts about those people to yourself, you know?
Let me ask the people out there what they actually think about the Greys, and tell me if I'm being racist against the Greys or not.
We'll save that for later. For now, we're going to get into this story called The Woman at the Bar, and it's from Enrique, LG97.
Enrique.
Really flows off the old tongue there, huh? Says, probably the creepiest thing that's ever happened to me. I've just realized everything I'm about to tell you, so my fingers are still a little shaky. I live in a Venezuelan island in the Caribbean called Margarita. Nice. Always have for most part of my life.
I think it's named after a woman, not the drink.
It can still be nice to be a woman, Christian. God, you are just on a roll today, aren't you? Sexist, racist. What doesn't this guy do? Make weird noises with his throat all the time, apparently. There's a little demon living in there. Always have, for the most part of my life. A lot of people here are still very rooted to the original human experience. I like that phrasing. Some are not even into technology. They're just about nature, fishing, drinking with neighbors on the beach, celebrating their religious beliefs.
Drinking is not part of nature.
You don't know that. What you would find people doing 50 to 60 years back, maybe due to their disconnection to the digital world, it is very common to find people with, quote, special gifts. Ooh. I mean, witches, clairvoyants, seers, you name it. I've never surrounded myself with those kind of people, nor will I, but I just had this experience a few weeks ago.
Oh, wow. Judgmental much?
It's the pot calling the kettle black over there, Christian. But I just had this experience a few weeks ago, and I just had my mind blown. It's always fun, amongst other things. It was a Monday at 11 p.m. I was at the beach with a pal and a group of girls that were visiting the island for the first time. We were having a nice time, had a couple of beers, until one of the girls asked me if I had any cigarettes.
Oh, that's how it starts.
Oh, yeah. I said, I smoke sometimes, but I didn't have any cigarettes on me. Plus, finding any bar or shop open at 11 p.m. Monday is basically an impossible task, though I still tried. The girl that was watching the cars told me he'd take me to a place if I bought him half a pack. I agreed. Weird. Not going to judge, unlike Christian. I let people live their lives. We got to the place a few blocks down the road. I walked in and asked the cashier for 2 packs of There was a woman sitting in the bar, maybe in her 50s. She had piercing eyes and was probably a little drunk, as she was drinking rum, and her cheeks were super red, even though she had brownish skin. This is where it gets creepy. She greeted me, and we started talking about how Marlboros were much better than other brands of cigarettes. This is not an advertisement.
Definitely not.
She then looked me dead in the eye and told me, even though I live here in this island, I wasn't born here, which was true. She told me I had something latched onto me that was taking good care of me, quote, on the other side. And that's why I've survived my near-death experiences. I've had a few, a very close type of few. No further information. I was silent for a second and told her that if it's watching over me, then it's probably good, right? She laughed, extended her hand to shake mine, and as she shook it, she was sort of rubbing it. Oh, yeah. Her eyes went blank as she did it, and that's when I felt chills all over my body. My heart started racing, then she stood up, leaned up to me, as if she wanted to tell me a secret, and told me, there's an old-time buddy of yours that knows about all the good and bad stuff that happened to you. He cheers when you fail and hates it when you move up. The thing you have with you will show you who that false friend is and end the friendship on terrible terms. Do not hesitate to do what you must.
Kill him.
Oh, okay, lady. Thanks for the cigarette talk. I'm going to be on my way. At this point, I already had my cigs, was scared shitless, and just wanted to get the hell out of there. So I thanked her for the advice and left. The days passed and I never gave it any deeper thought until I had a huge fight with a friend of 10 years and blocked him everywhere, never to contact him again. I won't go into detail to keep this short, but it was a friend I helped for years who told me I wasn't his friend for not being able to lend him money for the 999th time. It was quite a showdown, though. We were pretty close to physically hurting each other, but whatever. Even then, I couldn't make the connection between what the old lady at the bar told me and what had just happened until a few minutes ago. She nailed every single detail. The timing was also on point. It's like she read my life without even having a clue of what she was talking about. Don't know if she was some sort of witch or whatever, but there really are some forces in this world that we ignore. Stop ignoring it. Pretty much everything happens for a reason, and life gives you signs, so when it does, make sure to follow your gut and skip all rules of society about it. Doesn't that sound a little bit like anarchy? But that's fine. Honestly, I'm sure it's great, you know?
It's not.
Fight the power. It's, you know what? That's not for me to do. Not when the government's watching me constantly.
You just culturally appropriated a song.
Yeah, and I'll do it again.
I would do it too.
What, you want to fight me? Am I the power now? Bring it.
Know your enemy.
Come at me, bro. Hello, soundboard. I wish I could play with you over here. It's fine. What do you think of that?
I'm going to call a little bit of bullshit on this story.
Wow. Guys, hold on. Before you continue, for the first time in the show's history, Christian doesn't believe a story that we've shared.
First time.
First time it's ever happened. It's fine. What do you think of that story outside of it being bullshit then?
I think this guy was in a bar. Someone told him something. And sometimes when you're young, you don't keep the same friends you had when they're young. So the guy just made a connection that may or may not be there. Or this lady, eyes can roll up in the back of her head in the middle of a bar.
As she rubs your hand.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
With her piercing eyes.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
It's this one.
It's a little much for you?
A little much for me.
You don't believe in psychics or witches or warlocks or no, actually you don't. He doesn't.
No,
he doesn't.
I don't generally believe in.
Yeah, that turns out.
I mean, witches, of course, warlocks, of course, because you don't have to actually be magical to do that.
Sure. I don't even remember where I found this story, to be honest with you. It was in like a thread of people talking about their encounters with like psychics or anything like that. Or someone was asking, are psychics real? Are there people out there that really can do this? Because we've had this discussion where it's like, I don't believe 99% of them. I do think that there are people out there that are sensitive, and I hate that word, to these types of things and can maybe see into a realm that we can't, or perceive things in a different way than us that makes it seem like they have more answers. But I think 9 times out of 10, even 99 out of 100, psychics are just trying to get your money and they're trying to take you for a ride.
I think if you want to see what psychics do, you go watch a particular TV show called The Mentalist. And that's the majority of psychics, in my opinion. Maybe there are some that are connected. Most of them don't even get the messages quite straight. They have to do all types of interpretation to kind of pull out the good stuff. Unless
you're leaning on the power of demons, in which case psychics are 100%
no, they're
possible.
Not, because demons aren't real. But also, let me call out, I mean, Sylvia Browne's a good example of somebody kind of full, that was super popular as a psychic, but was kind of full of shit.
Sure.
And probably just read people. John Edwards
is notorious for being the worst, but
I mean, I've never met the guy, but it's not hard to read people if that's what you practice. And people that go to bars tend to be people watchers. So they could, the smarter ones could pick up on some of this stuff, and it'd be fun to sit around and freak out drunk people.
Sure. That is a possibility. Who's to say, really? What do you guys think at home, huh? You think Christian's full of shit?
I mean, if the lady would have had tarot cards, I might believe her.
Wow. Just gets weirder and weirder with you, Christian, I swear. Anyway, this next one is called The Helpful Bathroom Ghost, and it's by Cycle Jones.
This ghost must bring toilet paper when the roll runs out.
You are surprisingly close. For the first time in the show's history, you're surprisingly close. A lot of firsts.
Special day.
Except for the racism and all that stuff. That's multiple.
That did not occur.
Senior year in college, I was working late at night on an editing project for the campus TV station, which was located in the basement of the oldest building on campus. It was generally agreed that there was a ghost or presence in the building because things would move or disappear for weeks, only to reappear in a locked cabinet only accessible by moving a couch, etc. You get the idea. Anyway, back to the story. It was around 2 a.m. when I got to go to the bathroom. I did my business, washed my hands, went to wipe them on my pants, and as I walked toward the door, when all of a sudden I hear the unmistakable ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk sound of the manual paper towel dispenser behind me. I look back and there's freshly released paper towel hanging there waiting for me. Not to be rude, I grabbed the paper towels, dried my hands, said thank you to the room, and got the hell out of there.
That's how you do it. You got to thank them, ghost.
That is weird.
Why is that weird?
It's just, I mean, I don't know. It's about as lame of an experience, right? Like as far as like scare factor goes. But at the same time, you're like, was that ghost just watching me take a shit?
Maybe they don't watch.
Was that ghost watching me do my business?
I mean, let me ask you this. Do ghosts have optical nerves?
Yes.
No, they don't. They're ghosts.
You don't know that.
They don't have nerves. They're just...
You can't say it. Maybe in the other realm, you get different nerves. Maybe the astral body has astral nerves.
I don't think so. So maybe they're not watching. They're feeling. So not only did they not watch...
It's even worse.
Than doing the number two.
That's like some Patrick Swayze shit. Like, I'm feeling you take a shit right now. It feels good. It feels so good.
I feel so relieved. Sorry about that, folks.
Weird. Just trying to tell fun ghost stories, and you always make it weird, Christian.
You go there with me. I'll just throw something out there, and you'll just, let's go down this path. Oh, like the ghost can feel people going to the bathroom. Well, why couldn't they? I mean, maybe they're demons. And
wow, but demons aren't real, so you can't do that, huh? Gotcha. Got them.
True. Demons aren't real, but if they were, they'd be sitting in the bathroom all the time. They'd turn the toilet paper roll upside down instead of the proper way.
Like, this isn't the way it goes.
Now, what was fascinating about this story is it was a manual towel dispenser.
Mm-hmm. That's the ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk
right.
sound.
I've been around a lot of towel dispensers up in Prudhoe Bay that are basically you wave your hand in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
And those things will freak you out because you'll be standing, this public restroom up on the slope.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty big. You'll be standing all the way on the other side where the showers are, and the paper towel dispenser will activate, and you're the only one there because everybody else is asleep or at work.
Mm.
So it's kind of creepy, but I don't normally hear that with a manual one.
You almost never hear that with a manual one, in my experience at least. I can't say it for everyone else.
At least not in the stories we've come across lately. I mean, we might have to go to some chat boards from way back in the 90s to find some of those stories with the manual dispensers.
Yeah. We'll be right back after these short messages. Wow. You really skipped them after 5 seconds? Come on.
Not cool.
Come on, man. That's our livelihood at this point. You better watch that pedigree commercial. You better talk about that Simply Safe. Just kidding. We're not going to because they don't pay us. You know who else doesn't pay us? Everyone. It's fine. We're just talking about ghost stories. Nothing to see here. Let's get into this next one. It is called Ghost Dogs and Shadow Folk. Ooh. Christian's favorite. And it's by Mecha Otaku. When I was 20, I moved into a house with my then girlfriend. It was a 3-bedroom rental in a decent part of town and really, really cheap. My favorite. The only downside was the landlord didn't live in my state and didn't speak English, so the repairs took time.
And it was haunted.
That as well. That would be a downside, I would imagine. Thanks to a series of events involving my girlfriend's job making her come into work and her brother being a flake, I ended up moving in everything by myself. It's my experience that most jobs make you come into work, but maybe it's different there, 10 minutes into the move, I had the first encounter. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw a black dog looking up the stairs at me. I thought I was hallucinating from exhaustion, but then my dog, a large German Shepherd mix, who was upstairs with me, walked over to the stairs and started growling, looking straight at it. The dog casually walked away. I ran downstairs and looked everywhere but couldn't find it. We both saw the dog a few more times and had a few more other weird sights, sounds, experiences in the house. There was one that was beyond a doubt a paranormal experience. It was what caused us to move out. Our master bedroom was upstairs. It was a particularly hot summer, and the old AC wasn't cooling upstairs very efficiently, so we slept in a bedroom on the main level that I was using as my computer room and guest bedroom. This room always had a weird vibe to it, and we had noticed that our dog, who typically followed us everywhere, would not go in. Instead, he would lay down in front of the doorway and wait for us. He was a little strange at times, so we wrote it off as that. At some point in the middle of the night, I woke up being violently shaken. As I came to, I could feel a hand firmly holding my arm and shaking me back and forth, thinking the house was on fire and my girlfriend was trying to wake me. I jumped up and turned around to get out of bed. That put me face to face with what a lot of people would call a shadow person. It was a black mass vaguely in the shape of a human, but by the light of the streetlight outside of the window, I could clearly see it. I could feel freezing cold air pouring off of it. Hey, keep that upstairs then at that point, you know?
He's a dementor.
AC's not working. Hey, you get your ass upstairs, shadow person. We need some cold. Some cold. Is that how you say warmth, but for cold? Cold?
I guess we're going to go with it, I guess. I mean, maybe that's
cares?
how Mike Tyson says it.
Anyway, it was a black mass vaguely in the shape of a human, but by the light of the streetlight outside of the window, I could clearly see it. I could feel freezing cold air pouring off of it. Thinking I was dreaming and my girlfriend was still trying to wake me, I turned around only to see her still in the bed. Still sound asleep. I turned back around and the shadow was still there. A lot of stills going on. Now wide awake and full of adrenaline, I withdrew back away from it.
Leaving my girlfriend to suffer her fate alone. Sorry, I added that part.
Well, clearly, you're not looking at the story, are you? I turned back around and the shadow was still there. Now wide awake and full of adrenaline, I withdrew back from it. After having sufficiently scared the bejesus out of me, the shadow slowly turned away from me, lumbered toward my door and out into the hallway. My dog, who was sleeping in the hall, woke up and skittered backwards into the bedroom toward me, terrified. I sat on the bed and collected myself before jumping back out of the bed and going to the hall. I turned the light on and of course it was gone. I didn't wake my girlfriend up, but I also didn't sleep until the sun came back up. I told my girlfriend about it the next day. We called the landlord and told her that we were moving out. I told her the house was haunted and we were not staying after the current month. She seemed to understand and didn't protest at all. Wow. Landlord's like, yeah, I get it.
I need to raise rent anyway. Get out.
Shit's haunted. It happens. Very interesting story.
So let's say we're in a simulation, like some people like to say.
Do we have to?
What if something like this is just the people, the overseers, coming into the simulation and checking on us, but they look like shadow people to us? Like that. Remember the ghost story we had where like the ghost and the person saw each other and were both startled?
We've had a couple of those now.
Yeah.
Those are really fascinating stories. I know that, like, I think about this probably at least like once a month where I'm like, man, what the hell is going on the other side? Gotta get over there. Just kidding.
Maybe we've been there.
Maybe we are the other side. Yes, of course, other side magic. Didn't think about that, did we?
Also, the song Other Side. Just imagine that playing in the background as we're talking about the other side.
We talking about Adele?
No. Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh, yes, of course. Chili Peppers magic. Yeah, I got to find that video. I did that weird ghost video. I made that weird ghost short with that Adele song, probably like 10 years ago. And I still have it on my computer somewhere. It was good. Sometimes I just like to film. I just like to like break out we haven't done it here. I just set up cameras and recorded, but I'm an artist. Okay. No,
Artiste.
I like to actually set stuff up and see, and being somewhat of an introvert myself, not having a lot of free time and stuff, especially in Vegas, I was like, I'm going to just write a stupid short and see if I can film it, edit it, do everything myself and make it look good. And I did. And it looked amazing. And that's not what you're here for. So who gives a shit, right? Honestly, but I might have to get back to that at some point. At some point, as if I have free time on my hands ever.
Freaky Deaky's first short film will be as soon as Scott finds it.
What, you think you can lay claim to it? It's something I did far before this.
Yeah, but now everybody's going to want to see it.
You know what would actually be really funny is, you know how I put Easter eggs on the website? Is if I just embedded that video on some random blank screen, and people that like accidentally click in a certain part of the website or something just are taken to this video of me when I was like 22 years old or 20 or when I was like 15, because I'm 22 right now.
Your assignment has been issued.
Yeah, go to the freakydeaky.com and find the Easter eggs. You know, there, as of right now, you can draw on Christian. You can listen to my shitty, sappy love songs that I wrote since I was like 16 years old. There's an entire playlist of them somewhere. There's going to be, there's NFTs. Tinfoil Cats is up there. And now that I think about it, I'm going to also add my weird, creepy ghost short. Creepy ghost shorts. That's also something you can find on the website. Good luck. I have one final story for you guys, and it's about a ghost of the Titanic. Ooh, yes, of course. Leonardo DiCaprio magic.
The Titanic's not real.
Okay.
I'm just practicing.
Oh, yeah, he just wants to be prepared. This is less of a terrifying story and more of a funny story, but I was like, I'll just throw it in there.
Funny.
Let's end it on a good note, shall we,
Yeah, the
folks?
sinking of the Titanic. Funny.
Hilarious, if you really think about it. Anyway, it's called Miriam, the Ghost of the Titanic, and it's by Realistic Door 686. It says, while visiting a Titanic museum, my friend and I were excited to see pieces of the White Star Line, first-class china. Wow, boring, folks. Silverware and other artifacts that had been brought up from the depths of the Atlantic Ocean. There was velvet roping around an authentic Titanic deck chair with a model in period costume reclining. We joked with the woman while shuffling past with our group that this job must be delightful. Being able to watch people all day while seated lounging struck us as rather ideal. She just smiled. At the end of the tour, most people were filtering out of the museum. We stopped and jokingly asked our guide how to land. Such a great job, repeating what we had said to the woman on the deck chair because we thought we were fucking hilarious. And we weren't. Anyway. He began to laugh. He said, "Oh, you saw Miriam. She's not always here, but we welcome her anytime, honey." Or should I change that inflection? Should I go for it? Nah, I'm just going to say it the way I said it, guys. I don't want to be under fire. Anyway, we asked how much they would pay, and he laughed again. "Miriam is the name of our ghost," he said, and then following with, "You don't think we'd let just anyone sit in our Titanic deck chair, do you?" We could hardly eat lunch and realized we'd both just encountered a spirit. That is pretty wild. To me, those are very fascinating stories when it's like, it just looks like a person, like a normal person sitting there. And in this case, just lounging in a Titanic chair.
I'd put a normal person in that chair and just act like I didn't and it was a ghost.
I'm like, oh, you saw what now?
You saw Miriam?
Is that Miriam over there? Oh, shit.
Tell your friends
to come back and pay us double when we raise the rates.
Tuesday's half price.
Half price of what we just doubled.
Yes. So it's the same price.
Yeah, it's the same price. Yeah, I just thought it was a fun one. So I was like, I'm going to throw this in there because I'm the captain of this ship. And I do what I want.
So in this case, normally it's a very traumatic experience that's recorded in time. In this case, that chair must have really liked Miriam's buttocks.
So bring that ass over here, Miriam.
Yeah. So the chair recorded that event in time.
But then you'd think you'd just see like a couple of butt cheeks on the chair, at which case, I don't know how you would physically just be like, are there ass cheeks on that chair?
We think when we see ghosts that we're seeing them with our eyes, but what if we're seeing them with
our mind's eyes?
Yeah, our soul. So we see them differently. And that's why maybe we can't take the pictures that we want to get of things like that, because you're seeing it with all parts of you, not just your eyes.
Yeah. Yeah. It really could be like that. You know?
I do know, because I'm right.
I'll let you keep believing that for a few more minutes. So I guess we should probably end it on the ghost butt cheeks bit, huh? Subscribe, damn it.